Hi friends, today we're exploring the Spring Washington County Antique Fair and Flea Market. I really love the size of this fair because I can spend the whole day wandering without feeling rushed to see everything. It gives me more time to slow down and appreciate all the beautiful, weird, nostalgic old things that catch my eye. So come along with me for a cozy, although chilly, spring day of antiquing and treasure hunting. The fickle spring weather wasn't about to stop these intrepid treasure hunters. There's something about waiting in line at an antique fair that feels like the start of an adventure. Isn't it fascinating what people decide is important enough to keep and worth saving? I couldn't help noticing this little glass squirrel peeking out of the dish, so I had to check it out. This horse figure immediately caught my eye. I'm pretty sure it was a modern piece based on the sticker residue underneath, but I still thought the silhouette was gorgeous. Still gray skies. I really love both the historical dress print and the ornate frame. Honestly, I probably should have bought that frame. We always try to pick up hats like these for the tiki room whenever we find them. This unicorn reminded me of school folders I had in the 90s. One of the best things about a smaller show like this is being able to slow down and really look through the old paper items. I'm definitely feeling a little non-buyer's remorse over this one. I love copper and this was such a fantastic piece of art. I really should have at least asked about the price. How whimsical is this cat and bird lamp? I do love vintage Disney. The older font styles really appeal to me. This flamingo head was giving us Croquet and Alice in Wonderland vibes. What a cool piece. This may be the section where things are just a bit haunted. Are Pinky and the Blue Boy making a comeback? I feel like I've been seeing them everywhere lately. Nothing makes me regret selling my old gaming systems more than finding nostalgic games in the wild. Versus Hogan's Alley.
Oh, okay. So this is like probably the top to one of the games in the arcade.
In the arcade.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Glass.
Yeah, Plexi.
Plexi. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's neat. It's almost back.
Oh, 1985.
Yep.
Dang. This sign made me chuckle, perfect for anyone with dinosaur or Jurassic Park decor. You might expect antique fair prices to be high, and sometimes they are, but this booth felt more like garage sale pricing with tons of items to dig through. Look at his little face peeking through the raffia. And there's also like a little outrigger. The wind was actually working in my favor here, and I was completely enamored with this whimsical little lion. Finally there. The sun is shining. Kinda. It's trying. I love beadwork, so I had to stop and admire these pouches. This is cool. It looks like almost a dragon. From scary pike taxidermy and a small turtle shell to ornately adorned tin frames, there's always such a variety of things to explore. I'm currently hunting for a vintage McCormick's pumpkin pie spice tin and cat's paw rubber heels, pieces that fit my vintage Halloween aesthetic but aren't Halloween, so I had to stop and explore this display. This booth had so many great items I was drawn to. Well, excluding the dolls and the clowns. Dang it, how did I miss that pumpkin? The curse of editing footage and realizing what you missed in the moment. $20 on the bag. So cool. There's never a shortage of little trinkets to dig through. Old dental tools can make great sculpting tools. No question about the pricing here, multiple $2 tables to explore. This was one of those, "What is this?" moments. These turned out to be vintage glow-in-the-dark Aurora models. All different kinds of treasures are available, including toys for kids of all ages. Antique fairs always seem to have at least a few unexpected oddities. The vendor explained that this was a real medical study skull that originally came with the gray carrying case behind it. Price tag, $1,800. While not strictly tiki, we do incorporate some pirate elements into our tiki room decor. This cannon would have fit right in with our pirate mugs, but unfortunately it was missing a wheel. It was impossible not to smile at these derpy tiger cubs. This booth had some stellar examples of reusing old bits and bobs to create art, especially lighting pieces. It used to be a sewing machine. Oh, okay, I see. That's the sewing machine. Brilliantly creative. Here we go, there's another one. That's awesome. something odd, yet charming about these cats. The modern lines on this barber chair were really fun. It could make a good gaming chair. A slow coach indeed. Mice riding a snail. This is exactly why I love old illustrations. There were some great vintage clothing finds here. A vest dotted with bottle caps really stood out. And this suede vest definitely caught my eye too, so I had to take a closer look. The sandals were also fun. I loved the colors. Lots of statement brooches to choose from at this booth. The tag on this curious item described it as a medical quackery device. Definitely not something I come across often, but it was an interesting piece. There's a skull?
There's a skull in the...
Definitely a heads will roll situation with this novelty bowling ball. Mosquitoes are not my favorite insect, but I can still appreciate the artistry of the sculpture. There are likely pieces missing from this, but what stopped us was that it feels a little like one of Brian Froud's goblins from the Labyrinth. I love copper. And honestly, I love cookies too. So I did consider this for a minute, but I wasn't loving the $40 price. This glorious terracotta lady stopped me in my tracks. Absolutely stunning. Whether you're a pirate in need of a grog mug, or planning a Ren Fair outing and need a mead mug, this could be the mug for you. When tables are packed with so many treasures, I find it helps to just focus on one or two things to calm the chaos a bit. Even though the frame was damaged, I was really charmed by this flower girl print. At just $1, I kind of regret not bringing it home. This brass shell is another non-buyer's remorse moment. It was $80, but my husband really loved it. Who says the perfect Halloween sweater doesn't exist? As you'll see, we spent a lot of time at what I'll call the Everything is $5 booth. So many great vintage items, from the Hawaiian postcards to books, playbills, souvenir programs, drafting tools and aesthetic velvet cases, hardware, bottles, old photos, jewelry, and more. I was especially intrigued by what I believe was a vintage reticule, an old-style purse. I have no practical reason to own this, but I kind of love it. My husband was most interested in an old photo album from someone's Disney World trip. It was a real time capsule of what Epcot looked like back then. There were other photo albums from different trips as well, and it made me feel nostalgic for a time before digital cameras, when you had the anticipation of waiting for your photos to be developed and then spent time putting together scrapbooks of your trips and adventures. After a day of exploring, admiring, learning, and shopping, the sun finally made an appearance, but it was time to head home with our finds. For the tiki room, we picked up a scallop parasol and a woven hat, little additions that will fit right in with the space. For my copper collection, I brought home this Coppercraft Guild candle snuffer. I was really drawn to the mix of copper and brass, and I couldn't leave behind this vintage gold tone frame with its beautiful turquoise accents. Well friends, that's going to do it for our day at the Washington County Antique Fair. Even after spending hours wandering the fairgrounds, I still feel there were treasures that I missed. And thanks to editing this footage, I've been reminded of a few things I probably should have brought home with me. So now I'm curious, of all the items we looked at today, what would you have brought home? And have you ever experienced non-buyer's remorse? Was there something you left behind at an antique fair, thrift shop, flea market, or estate sale that you still think about? Let me know in the comments. I like to believe that when we leave something behind for someone else to discover and love, that it's good karma and the thrift gods will reward us with an even better find on our future adventures. At least that's what I tell myself to ease the regrets. As always, thank you for coming along with me on this cozy adventure. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to support this channel, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Until the next adventure, take care and happy treasure hunting.